What's it, guys? Today we're going to be doing a 6-year, 100,000-mile update on my father-in-law's 2020 TrailBoss. A lot of people love these trucks, but also a lot of people are scared of them. So I figured I'd go ahead and give y'all an update, the good and the bad, on this truck, because he bought this thing brand new in 2019 and has put a little over 100,000 miles on it. And we've done quite a bit as well, so I guess we should go ahead and start with that. Talk about everything that we've done so far to the truck, give y'all a nice little cold start, and then go drive it and talk more about it. So for starters, 2020 TrailBoss. It's a 5.3 crew cab, of course. It's a LT, leather, sunroof, some nice options on it. So as far as modifications go, we blacked out the front, did the bow tie, did the corner marker tint. It has a Ready Lift SST 2-inch lift or level, so it technically sits 4 inches higher than your standard Silverado, because the TrailBosses come with a 2-inch from the factory, so technically 4 inches higher. 20x9 fuel wheels, 35 1250 Gladiator X comps. Got the shorty antenna. He put these steps on there. We got the Recon taillights, which he gets compliments on all the time. It looks super good, nice blacked out look. We did a muffler resonator delete, so it's got the single pipe coming from the factory to duals. Got, I can't remember if these are 3.5, I think there's a 3.5-inch dual black tips. He put the bed cover on there, and I think that's pretty much it, unless I'm overlooking something. Yeah, we got a little boo-boo right here. We're going to talk about how that happened and everything in just a minute. Nice little startup as the plane cruises over. It's actually never had a check engine light, which I know some people are going to be astonished by. Some of these trucks, like my old one, don't make it past 5,000 miles. Yeah, dude, this thing's done. So this is the 5.3 tried and true. As far as the interior goes, it has held up really, really nicely. So 6 years of ownership, 105,000 miles. So it's been hopped in and out of a million different times. His wife drives it all the time. Bunch of different scenarios with that, whatever the case. Still looking pretty dang good. We didn't detail it or anything for this video, but a little dirty, but not much wear. One of the things that is wearing is your coating right here where you drop your phone in or whatever. Sunroof still works great. All of these things it should, but in today's world of modern trucks, sometimes they just don't live up to what you would expect from years of ownership of older trucks that did. The dash definitely looks extremely outdated, in my opinion, more so than my 2018 over there. It's got the same size cluster or display, I believe, but just the way that they laid this one out, it does look tiny when you hop in here if you're not used to it. So even with car seats and stuff back here, leather still holding up great. Of course, you're gonna have an imprint from this thing being locked down. No issues with the headliner. He's never experienced the third brake light leaking, which I know has plagued a lot of these trucks, but you can tell from the headliner there is no staining, so no issue. It's never had to be taken down. Passenger seat sometimes gets worse than the driver. So, passengers aren't necessarily as easy on your stuff as you might be, but this seat looks even better than the driver's side, and that's awesome. So as far as the interior goes, this thing has held up extremely good, and you really, don't see any wear aside from that guy right there, which is awesome. So we're gonna go for a little drive and just talk about all the different aspects and how they have held up. So for starters, this truck still has the original Rancho shocks, which a lot of people hate driving off the lot, but these have held up great. They're not leaking anything, and for the most part, this thing rides really good, pretty much like any 1500 modern truck. Can't really complain that much. Now, this one's probably had half of its mileage with the leveling kit on there, which in my experience, if you do the Ready Lift SST, it really doesn't make it ride any worse than it did straight off the lot, which is always great. You get that additional height, that way you can stuff some 35s on here and you don't lose your ride quality. So as far as suspension goes, there's been no issues whatsoever. Now, could you go ahead and slap a more premium strut in there? Probably. It might make you think that it rode bad after experiencing that, and at some point we'll definitely look into doing that, because just years and miles, you're going to need to end up replacing your suspension parts. They are constantly under attack, but cruising around feels totally fine. Now, number 2 would be your powertrain. So as far as the engine goes, this thing has been absolutely bulletproof. Now, he gets regular oil changes on time, and he's not had any issues whatsoever. Now, unfortunately, the thing with the lifters, it's really just a time bomb, because it's either going to happen or it's not. At least that's my viewpoint on it, because my 21.62 TrailBoss, I didn't do anything that should have caused that kind of failure. And yet, at 5,000 miles, cruising down the road at about 1,000 RPMs, boom, dropped the lifter, ended up bending a push rod, sounded like the motor blew. And then a week later, after they replaced everything, it was back perfectly good, and then went however many miles I drove that truck without any issue. So it is unfortunately one of those things. It's hit or miss. Now, the 14 to 18 trucks, they also had issues with lifters, but typically it was more on the higher mile side. It wasn't like a, hey, I just drove my brand new truck for 2 months and then the lifter dropped proof. Now let's talk transmission, because that's another thing that I see a lot of people just not behind the 10 speeds yet, even though they've been out since 2018. And I'm a huge fan of the 10 speeds. They just keep the truck in the power band all the time, no matter what you're doing. Some people will say, they'll have some weird downshifts, or the truck doesn't know what gear it should be in when you give it a certain amount of throttle and stuff. And I'm not saying that that's not a thing. I've just never really experienced it, and I've had Ford and GM 10-speed trucks, I think 3 of them at this point, maybe 4, and I've never had any issues whatsoever with mine, and thankfully this one hasn't either. We'll give it a little stomp. I mean, it thought for a second about one gear and then went to the rest, so maybe that's something, but it's so quick that it's not something that's going to be dangerous or something like that. And once it drops all those gears, she starts taking off, and that is such a big thing for like a 5.3 truck that's not got a ton of horsepower. If you can have all those gears to keep it in the power band and really push it, it's going to feel like it, and it's going to perform a whole lot better. If you throw this 5.3 10-speed next to a 5.3 4L60 or something, it's night and day. This thing is going to perform just absolute miracles around it. And so I'm a huge fan of the 10-speed, and so here in this truck, it's been great as well. Gears, they've been great. Transfer case, no issue. This thing hops in and out of 4-wheel drive, no problems whatsoever. He's constantly using that. He actually uses a ton of 4-wheel auto, which personally I don't like to do, just because I guess I've fed into the horror stories of, if you leave it in 4 auto, that can wear things out, because it's constantly trying to figure that out. Maybe it's not the best at it, but he leaves it in 4 auto a lot of the times whenever it's raining or whatever, his driveway is gnarly, or pulling the boat or whatever. And it's never given any issues whatsoever. So honestly, man, the truck's been really freaking good. We're gonna pop a U-turn up here, and we're gonna go give it a good wide open throttle pull to see if she's still got the beans, because who knows? This thing is loaded down with a bunch of crap in the back. We got, this isn't a performance run to see the times or anything, but you got to test her out. You got to knock the carbon off of her and, just firmly plant your foot to the floor. Has this got sport mode? This does have sport mode. They changed that in the later years. They took it away, I think. All right, sport mode, 2-wheel drive. Let's punch in and see what happens. Chirp the tires. Pulling hard. So, chirp the tires. Pulling hard. So once again, this is loaded down 35s, 5.3, the small V8. It still gets out of its way perfectly fine, and as you just saw, no hiccups, no slip, nothing weird. Great oil pressure. It was literally idling up there at the house with 60 psi. Currently, now that we're just cruising, we're at like 40 psi. I mean, what do you say, man? What do you say? Now, there is a couple of issues with the truck currently, and there has been, I think, one thing that's had to been replaced. So let's go ahead, hop back to the farm. We'll talk more about that. Another noteworthy thing to check out is, do we have any leaks, and how is the frame holding up? So as you can see, This thing is clean as a whistle under here, dude. I don't see any oil leaks from the engine nor the transmission. Not the rear, nothing. Super dry, which is awesome. Now, a couple of these generations had problems with the frames. You know, the factory coating would fail and they would look really bad in a short amount of time. But as you see, go all the way back. It's not been coated or anything. There's factory stickers. It looks dang near brand new. Just got some dirt on it. So legitimately the only thing that he's had to replace aside from regular maintenance and stuff like brakes and oil changes and whatnot is the belt. So the original belt, the main drive belt, started to squeak, and it did that for a pretty good while until he just absolutely had enough. And so he took it in. He goes to Firestone, which is not always a great experience, but he's locked this truck in since he bought it with their lifetime alignment. And every time he gets the oil change, he gets the tires rotated, and that's why the Gladiators last that long. But he got them to put a new belt on it, and so it no longer squeaks. So that's literally been it, aside from maintenance that he's had to do, which for a, you know, I keep saying it, a modern truck, sometimes the quality is just no longer there. And so for 100,000 miles, 6 years of ownership, a belt, what can you ask for any better? You really can't. Totally forgot to mention, but definitely worth mentioning, this truck is not tuned. It doesn't have a range module, nothing. So V4 or DFM, it's not even V4 because it could cut lower than that. DFM is still fully working on this truck and always has. So those that think that DFM is the killer, the lifters themselves, because they are a different design, possibly. But as far as leaving it to do its thing, if you don't care about the exhaust note change, which you really can't tell on this truck, I mean, this is kind of proof of the pudding. It didn't kill this one, or at least it hasn't yet. So it's been in a couple of accidents, unfortunately. You saw the big one on the back. We'll talk about that in just a second. One night his wife had the truck up at the summit and was eating dinner and had it backed into a spot just like this. And some lady backed out from me to there and hit the bumper and then tried to flee the scene, and she ran out on the road and caught her, and they ended up not prosecuting, but enforcing that she did in fact do that, because she was not trying to take liability for it. And so liability, my words ain't wording. She didn't want to say that she actually did that. She was saying that they were parked incorrectly, and that's what caused her a whole bunch of bull crap. But they got it squared away, got a new front bumper put on it, got it painted, all of that. I guess we should do a paint update as well, because this is pretty, well, that's actually like some moss or something growing on there. But for a black truck, man, and Brett drives like a freaking, like he got somewhere to be all the time. He will eat your bumper off without even thinking about it. So honestly, for a black truck, it's not that chipped up, which is also a rare thing, because a lot of times modern vehicles have such thin paint that they just get absolutely obliterated with rock chips. Now, can't count the front bumper because it was replaced and it does have some stuff on it right now, but the grill and the hood has not been touched. And yeah, there's some, sparkles and sprinkles or whatever you want to call them around, but not that bad. Let's go ahead and check the sides, because he's always had, not always, but he's had these same wheels for like half the mileage, had 33s before, then went up to 35. So has had offset. Now, of course, the steps do help. And the truck is dirty, but all this, that's like tire shine. I'll check the other side, because that one's kind of clapped. These guys help, but I mean, dude, it's really not got rock chips, which is awesome. A couple door dings here and there, but not bad, especially not for as much parking as normal. Let's go ahead and check the roof. Let's see how the paint has held up on the roof. See if we got any clear coat letting loose, because you never know. Black's not usually the worst about the flaking issues. That's usually the white, but the black is bad about the clear coat starting to haze up and fail. Maybe not on this new of a truck, but this is a 2020, so she's getting some age on her. I guess we should talk about this guy. This has got him real bent out of shape, of course, and you might not can tell just how large of a dent this is. I mean, this whole panel is caved in. So he had a trailer behind him, and he was on the phone, and his wife was in there talking to him. And I think he said that his employee was outside the window as well. And he was just not fully paying attention, or was, you know, overstimulated, as everybody loves to say now. And he thought his foot was fully pressing the brake, but he was inching backwards, and the trailer jackknifed and got into the side. It's actually that guy right there. That guy right there swung around, punched a hole in it, and put a huge dent. And of course, he's going to get it fixed, but it's kind of funny, you know, being aluminum, it's not rusted up or anything. The paint's barely even flaking off, which is pretty cool as well. So that's definitely the biggest boo-boo. Definitely going to have to get a bedside put on her, which, once again, not the end of the world. One of them things that happens. So there is the update, dude. 2020 TrailBoss 5.3, 10-speed, four-wheel drive. Dude, she's been amazing. She has been awesome, and he doesn't plan to ever sell these. He actually says that he's going to eventually get a new truck, and he's going to give this one to Knox, my son. And that'd be cool with me. I mean, Knox has already claimed a couple of my trucks for when he turned 16, but I wouldn't mind adding this one to the fleet. That's for sure. Holy crap. But yeah, I just figured we'd go ahead and do an update, because some of these trucks are not good, and ones like this, they're freaking amazing. So drop a comment and let me know about your 2019 plus GMs. What's your experience been? Did you have the dreaded lifter failure? Have you had other issues like the leaky roof? Whatever else. I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of different issues that plague this thing, can potentially plague these trucks. But also, you know, I want to put out into the world, here's a good example of one that has been really freaking good. So I'm gonna quit rambling. Hopefully you did enjoy. Definitely drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, ring that bell notification, and I will see y'all boys in the next video.